Hello guys and welcome here to the Jello Cup Series race number 33. Here today we begin the round of 8, and this time I'm right when I say we begin the round of 8 here at Talladega Super Speedway, the 1000 bulbs 500. Joining us again today is Austin Shaw.
What's going on?
Austin, we saw an exciting race over at the Roval, well actually uneventful up till the end.
Yep.
Which saw Hillary Sanchez wreck and Alexander Rowe go on to win his second race in a row. Guess what? He's starting from the pole today.
Fast.
Could this be the day he punches his ticket to the Championship 4?
Possibly. I can see it.
Yes, and guess what? He has teammates behind, or he has a teammate behind him. Actually two, now that I'm looking at it. The 10 and the 4. And of course, this is a tough race to punch your ticket in because it is the great equalizer. And the other thing you gotta worry about, the big one.
Yep.
And we know what's gonna happen one way or another in this race. But of course, this is also good practice for Zen Joltis, which is coming up.
Yep.
And of course, these guys will wanna punch their ticket in. For guys though, like Patrick Smith and Zach Fitzwater, who just barely made it into this round, what do they have to do?
Defend their position.
Yeah, and well, Fitzwater will be easier to do. Patrick Smith has got to move up.
Yep.
And of course, I mentioned at the beginning of the playoffs, he's probably the biggest target, probably the biggest favorite, because he is the defending champ. If he advances his Championship 4, he sets himself up for a second championship, which is very hard to do. And we'll see what they do here today, as we'll be right back in just a moment. Let's roll the intro, though, here at Talladega.
Through turn 4. Does 24 have enough? It's going to be a drag race to the line. We're going down the front stretch. They got 96. Wins the race at Coda.
Alright, here we go. Austin, who's your favorite here?
Anybody.
Simple answer. As the pace car peels off, it is your call.
Alright, as they come down to the tri-oval, remember the start finish line is halfway down the straightaway, not in the tri-oval. As they come into the tri-oval, like I said, they are waiting for the green flag, and the green flag is out. We are racing.
And already the 66 looking to make an evasive move. But he'll fall right back in line behind Zach Fitzwater. And now the question will be, another thing we mentioned, the Chevy. There's only one Chevy remaining in this championship battle. And of course, he's been a very strong Chevrolet all season. And that is Tim Randolph. We'll see what he's able to do. Look at the Fords. They're already lining up in that middle lane. And Zach Fitzwater is about to be put 4 wide. That never ends well here at Talladega. And they're all fanning out. Someone just came to the pit lane with an issue. 34, Giorgio Stumu is blown up. And Joshua Sucully leads the opening lap. That's the perk of having a Chevrolet. You got a fender that can stick out, kind of like the old style Pontiacs when Ricky Craven won with that extended nose. But you see that has separated the pack. Usman Hamid was the leader, and that lead now goes to Trevor Collins. But here comes Patrick Smith, and now he gets put 4 wide. Trevor Collins leads the lap. Door to door in that second row of cars there.
Oy vey.
Keep in mind, and I've said it every restrictor plate, and I may be a broken record, we do have overtime at our dispense. And I believe this is the second to last race we do have overtime at our dispense as Rodemar Otts goes to the lead. Here comes Dylan Young and Nathan Faden with Stacy Stickler. Seeing no one wants to be patient right now. Oh my gosh, 1, 2, 3 at the top of the boards that time. Austin Shaw, he's pushing that 41. He's got help from Chevys behind though. And now Patrick Smith will creep in behind those Chevrolets. Here goes the 48, looking for the lead. I think we've had a lead change about every lap here so far. Here comes Alexander Rowe again with the charge. And he's not going to wait behind the 35. 48 leads the lap. Oh, they're door to door. That's not good. The one got shoved. They're going to wreck in about a lap or two. You just watch. Man, Patrick Smith's got to be sitting there saying, please get me out of this.
Surprised they haven't wrecked yet.
Oh, dear. I wish we had a heart rate monitor on those guys, because I assure you, their heart's probably pounding 180 a minute.
Yeah.
Four wide again. '77 leads that lap. And now Mina Monroe goes to the race lead. Here comes the 93. Here comes the 4. Oh boy. I'm just shocked they're making this work. And the 4 is getting a huge push from those Rick Ware Racing vehicles. And Zach Fitzwater will now lead a lap in this race. And the lead is where you want to be here.
Yep.
Either the lead or you want to be at the back.
Absolutely.
So those guys who are in the second pack here, you see that? Oh no, they're all in one pack once again. My mistake. Oh, they wrecked behind. We called it. 35, 11, 95. Carter Joey, his day's going to end on that, I believe. Rusty Potts was the one that went around. I don't think many of our playoff drivers got too much damage out of that. 51 Jeff Scott leads him back to the line. I think that's the furthest we've made it at Talladega without them wrecking,
Right.
so I guess I'll give them one of these, a kudos. Alright, now that we're done trolling them, let's go see what happened. Well, I see why we moved this race to the round of 8, because you gotta survive, and it's gotta be a challenge to advance to the championship 4. They go, well, it wasn't even 4 wide, it was 3 wide, and these guys are door to door. And then they all just bunch up here. I don't think anybody sustains any major damage. Oh no, the 3 slams into that outside wall. See, the 9 and the 35 get together, and then further back, pretty much the whole track's blocked, but the guys on that outside lane, they get through. Would this qualify as the big one?
Yeah.
Very
Like a mini big one.
yeah. So the precursor to what's to come. And Dan Hummel goes sliding. I think he got hooked on that apron. But look
Here.
at this. He dirt tracks it.
Wow.
Almost overcorrected it, but he dirt tracks it on the
Wow.
banking. Kind of looked like that jet dryer that we've seen a lot
Yeah.
this season. So, yeah, so we'll be back with the green in just a moment. Well, whenever we make it to this point with only 2 cars out of the race, that generally qualifies as a good day, or a good start. Of course, the bad part are 3 cars out, my mistake. The bad news, though, one of them was your playoff driver, Carter Joey. His day is over. Patrick Smith. Now these guys have to avoid going multiple laps down, because of course they go multiple laps down. If we do have an overtime needed, they will not be a part of it if they're multiple laps down. Jeff Scott, Trevor Collins, Zach Fitzwater, Ricky Johnson, Tyler Faden, your top 5. And they'll go down the long tri-oval. Green flag is out, we're back on our way. Do you think the 4 and the 6 work together here?
I would. And 93 because they're all 3 Fords.
That's true. But I think, yep, they're gonna 2-car tandem it looks like. Or try to. Maybe Ricky Johnson just gets out of the way, says, I don't want to be a part of this. Of course, we got Watkins Glen next. That'll be our last road course of the season. And then we got Martinsville. That'll wrap up the round of 8, a challenging round of 8 to say the least, before we head to Zenjoltas. Oh man, the 4 tried to take him wide,
Wow.
and the 93 wasn't having it. Jeff Scott will continue to lead and try to take advantage of being out in front. And right behind this 2-lane racing, they're single file on that outside lane. Very typical of Talladega. You see the 4 just about gets run up the track, and he is out of the draft. Here comes Charles Sanford with help from Tim Randolph. Again, we mentioned Tim Randolph is the lone Chevy remaining in the playoffs.
Can shoot the 2 Coke cars get up there?
Yep. But I'll tell you though, for being the lone Chevy, he's sure gonna have a lot of help from these Chevy teams in this race. Of course, the 51 doesn't really have an allegiance because one race they're a Chevy, the next race they're a Ford.
Right.
Oh man, I just saw a crossover, I think, between teammates back there. That inside lane, they're gaining some traction. And the 4 is going to pit an issue for Zach Fitzwater. That is a tough break for this 4 team. And they are going to have to enter Watkins Glen and really do some damage. You see Hillary Sanchez is in the mix. This field essentially divided into 2 packs right now. After Zach Fitzwater's pit stop. And here goes Brad Stover.
Got 3 Chevys on the bottom.
Yeah, the 3 Chevys really working together strong. The second pack a little ways back. If they could get single file, maybe they can catch these guys.
They might.
Here comes the 52. You got 2 Fords and a Toyota on the bottom. Keep in mind, they are catching some lap traffic. And if series history proves anything, lap traffic is not very friendly.
Nope.
Here at Talladega or Daytona. And they will first catch the number 9 of Rusty Potts. As we got a battle for the lead. Charles Sanford's going to get it. One of the Coke cars going to the lead. Now Ricky Johnson wants it. But Charles Sanford will lead the lap, and they'll split the lap traffic. That you don't get to say very often,
Wow.
that these guys get through so quickly
They
and
held
so
up
easy.
That second half.
It's not good for the second pack coming up, because they're even more... Yeah, they're not really organized, so this hurts them more than it hurts the first pack. But it did knock Tim Randolph back to the second pack. These guys got to find a way to split them and not lose the pack. And somehow they kind of make it work. Up ahead, they've got a mess of them. Starting with Nonigan Scott. Then you got Joshua Saculli, Nathan Faden, Kevin McHugh, and Eric Faden. In correction, they might have already caught another lapped car. And yes, they did, the 35 of Patrick Smith. And Dylan Young is now your race leader.
By a lot.
But being that far ahead, he's going to get swallowed up by the pack really quick. Let's see if we got an update on Fitzwater. Ooh, Fitzwater had, it looks like a wheel issue. I don't know why it says tire, probably a wheel issue.
He's out.
And his day is done. That is heartbreak for Zach Fitzwater. Not the start to this round they needed.
Yeah,
Here goes
52.
52. And we told, and just like we called it, he was going to get swallowed up pretty quick. And the highest running playoff driver right now, Samet Ozkan in that 18.
Oh,
And they split him. I think they get through that pretty easy. But up ahead, it won't be as easy. As Usman Hamid leads as we come to 10 to go. Ten to go. Pretty diverse pack here, but no, well, one Chevy. Two Chevys.
very diverse.
Here comes the two, with help from a Toyota, a Ford, and a Chevy. And I don't think anybody's going to win this battle. There's four. Oh no, Dylan Young's going to clear. It was a pretty even pack, 4 and 4. And they may go 4 wide. Thankfully, they'll think better of it. But Dylan Young's got lap traffic now.
Here we go.
Round 5, I believe, of lap traffic. I think I'm exaggerating. And they're all going to move high. And some guys are going to use this as a pick. See, Kevin McHugh very nice to his teammate there. Not nice to the guys behind him. And they'll move high to avoid the lap traffic there.
He got held up.
Now Samet Ozkan is held up. And they're side by side. That outside not really working well for Dylan Young.
Nope.
But now they'll be able to split the 8, and guess who they brought back into this? There's the 9 again, Rusty Potts. He'll go a second lap down. That'll end his day. If we go to overtime. Somehow we're still green despite all this lap traffic battles.
Oh, he had 2 cars out front.
That is shocking that these guys haven't caught him yet. Here goes Samet Ozkan. He's like, I got a trip to Zenjoltis on my mind. Get out of the way. And they can't really get formed behind him. But this should allow Brad Stover to close in. And look behind him. They got a whole pack organized. And one of the cars in this pack, don't look now, but it's Alexander Rowe. And this just looks like Talladega Nights, a mano battle. Side by side. Dylan Young's gonna win it this time. 5 to go. And guess what? Another lapped car. It's Patrick Smith. And they'll split them. Another lapped car, the 15. The good news is after this they should be good. Oh! Oh!
Wow.
Samet Ozkan was not having it. And he just about hooked the 15. Oh, a wreck!
What?
No, they save it.
Wow.
Jeff Scott just saved it. 4 to go. And they just slammed doors again. The 93 and the 18 get together. And they're all getting anxious now.
There we go.
Now we got a wreck. 43, Tim Randolph. 18, or no, 20 rather. 16 was the one I was thinking of. And I guess it wasn't a sign of what's to come. Not really a big one, but one that certainly just took a lot of guys out of this race. And Dylan Young, who thought he had one in the bag, I don't know. We're going to have to get word from race control, but I do believe this forces overtime.
Oh, really?
So we may have our first overtime race of the season coming up. Let's go see what happened. In a 3-wide battle gone wrong. Well, actually 4-wide. Off the corner, you see there, 77 just pinched.
Wow.
And just an unfortunate wreck for these guys. By the way, we did get word from race control there will be overtime in this race.
It's gonna be exciting.
Oh man. And we'll be back in just a moment. We gotta get the field reset and figure out who's gonna advance to overtime here in just a moment. Welcome back. Nat GCN overtime about to take place. We picked up one more in the booth. We got Dan Hummel with us.
Hey guys, glad to join you in the last 2 laps of NASCAR overtime.
Yep, and here we go. We've seen an eventful
Yup.
beginning, a stable middle, and we might just see an eventful end. Can one of the playoff drivers come out with this? Pace car is off. Dylan Young, Ricky Johnson, Samet Ozkan, Hillary Sanchez, and Jeff Scott. Keep in mind, once the leader takes the white flag, the race is over. Otherwise, we have unlimited attempts. We're underway. You see there, Dylan Young does not get a good jump.
Richard Johnson you wanted to lead?
Yeah, that's Ricky Johnson. But it's a mess of Fords up there
3 wide for
in the
3 rows
third
back.
row. Yeah. And look at that, Samet Ozkan's getting a push on the inside lane. Keep in mind, Samet Ozkan, if he wins, he locks into the championship
right.
4. Ricky Johnson goes to the lead.
Covers that low line.
And look at how strong that low line is.
Here they come.
White flag this time if they can make it all the way around the tri-oval. They're getting
I think
squirrely
they're going to
back
make
there.
it.
They are getting squirrely back there.
We will not have another overtime. White flag is out. 1 lap to go.
Will they make it to the finish cleanly is another question.
Cement Ozkan to the lead. Keep an eye on that 96. He is in the thick of it right now. And I assure you, they may be Toyotas, but they are not going to play like teammates.
I'm telling you, Cement Ozkan has a fast car on these restrictor plates. He always brings a fast car with these restrictor plates.
But guess what? Here comes Charles Sanford.
And that inside line, and then
And
humping the
Sanford is a former winner at Daytona. Out of turn number 4, here comes Stacy Stickler.
He's gonna try and get to the inside,
But
and
it's
he's
not going to be
work.
enough. Charles Sanford, he will hang on and he will win at Talladega. An upset win by Charles Sanford.
Wow.
And I imagine that Toyota of Cement Ozkan probably shaking his head and saying,
Yep.
really? You could have pushed me to a championship. But hey, you go for broke. Either way, it's a good points day for Cement Ozkan.
Mhm.
And Stacy Stickler, her efforts fall short, but she gets a good points day. And now not much fear entering Watkins Glen next race. Anyway, Austin, we want to thank you for joining us for the full race.
It's been a pleasure.
Daniel, we want to thank you for joining us for overtime
It's been a pleasure.
on top of racing in your car.
Well, you know,
I guess you can pull double duty.
I've done it before.
Alright, we will see you for Watkins Glen tomorrow. Until then,
Goodbye, everyone.